I just finished rewatching K-pop Demon Hunters. He is a cinephile. Wow, ang cinephile. Parang naroon isang pelikula, cinephile na agad. And it got me tearing up again. And it's just like, wow, I'm alive. I'm alive, I'm alive, I'm alive. And then after finishing it, I tried watching a new series, The Wonderfuls, a limited series on Netflix. And then I got myself like, oh wow, I like it. I'm gonna come back to you because I have a life that I choose to live. I caught myself choosing to return to my life instead of escaping it. And the movie, I'm watching it a year after it was released. I forgot kung kailan but actually the release yung K-pop Demon Hunters. Basta the summer of 2025. And it's the summer of 2026 now. And it's really, really rewatchable. Hey guys. Welcome to another episode of Anywhere We Go. Wow, grabe. 2 episodes in a week. Productive. Hindi naman ako productive. Wala lang kasi talaga akong gagawin. Ganun talaga. Sometimes there are moments where parts of our lives, certain aspects of our lives, kung it was a clock, yun na lang ang analogy ko. It's not always, the pointer is not always gonna cover the whole 24 or 12 hours in the clock. You always have to be in one place at a time. You can see the whole thing, but you have to put your focus in what matters right now. Here, babalik ka lang naman nun. Oh, maganda ba yung analogy? Yes, so to those watching the videos, I am wearing holy clothes. Holy? Ano to? Vanal? No, may mga butas. Holy. Because to understand the one, you must understand the whole. I see. The first time I watched the movie, I was like, oh my gosh. I was just absorbing everything. That was the first watch. Second watch, the music. I've been listening to it and then I rewatched and I was like, oh my god. The music. The third rewatch, I was like, oh my god. The symbolism and everything. And now on the fourth rewatch, I noticed the little details in the movie that like I haven't noticed before, and just how fucking there's so much depth to it. There's so much. It's very much rewatchable. The message is there. The design is great. The animation, the special effects, the songs, the music. Now that is a movie. I like movies. And there's a beauty then to series. Because the movie condenses an entire story into like a meal. While a series is like, with the series you take it slow and you get to go into the characters deeper. And yeah. But another thing that I realized that animated movies are peak. They are the peak. I talked about this already last year on the podcast that I made Pahapiao. I teased that I would be talking about movies. But at that time, I was hooked on cinema therapy. I was watching a lot of their videos of them dissecting the psychology and filmmaking behind movies. And with K-pop Demon Hunters, they discussed shame and guilt. And I was like, damn. At the time, I was like, oh yeah, you're right. And I was like, that's true. But once I was able to take a step back from the movie and go back to living life, that's when I na-realize ko that I had shame within myself, that I was being held back by shame. Guilt, not really. I've already processed that like 2 years ago, the guilt aspect. And I was like, I'm not gonna be driven by guilt. The guilt, yeah, yes, hearing The guilt will still pass. There are echoes of the past, and you can often still hear guilt tripping around you. But I return faster than I leave. I return to center faster than I leave. And because I know it will come, you cannot deny. Sabi nga nila, it's still tied to keep up the narrative. Wait lang. You cannot just deny something. Or you cannot just stop it. Or like not let it happen. You just have to let it happen. Let it. Let them let you. Let it happen and let yourself just not be bothered by it. Let it pass through you. It goes in and then it goes out. One ear out of the other. I think that's what they say. Because we are the sky. You know, once you realize that you're the sky and everything is just weather, life can be so much better. You have to appreciate, though, the weather as it passes. For some days it rains, some days it's sunny. And sometimes the sun is too much. You know what I mean? Like as of recently. But now it's getting rainy again. And there's this beauty to the rain. The way it just asks us to fucking slow down. Pero if the rain is too much, it can be destructive. It's loud, floods, yes, storm, wind, turbulence. So, yeah, but it'll all pass. Some days it will take long as fuck. Super, as in, and it's not gonna be fucking easy, and it won't be. Sabi nga nila, kahit ano, basta together tayo. We can get through this as long as we're all together. Yan yung message ng movie. One of the messages. And also another message is that if fighting the demons would have worked, sabi ni Gino, basta you cannot fight fire with fire. Bad experiences, trauma. You cannot deny that it didn't happen because it did. And once you accept that it did, then you are one step closer to not being ruled by it, by shame and by trauma. Trauma can be released actually, okay? Based on neuroscience and the studies of animals, we humans have forgotten how to release trauma. Releasing trauma is like a near-death experience. Like animals that almost die, they like literally shake their whole bodies like that, and it's a somatic release. And for some reason, I was doing a lot of that unknowingly when I was in the darkest times, because the body doesn't fight you, the body fights for you. So once you know how to listen that your body is not doing this against you, also inside out too, your emotions are not fighting you. Like anxiety is just doing what she does for you to protect you. It generates these realities to protect you from what could be. Pero you do not have, you should acknowledge her. Bakit her? Kasi it was Maya Hawke, I think. So, kasi yun yung character niya. Let her calm down for a bit. Regulate yourself. Oh, I'm just being anxious. Once you are able to name your feelings, then you can know how to continue, what the right approach is to it. Sadness must be met by presence. Anger, when you're angry, it just means that there's a boundary that was crossed. Something that you wanted to happen did not happen, so you're angry. The reason you're anxious is because there's a kakulangan of information. The reason you're fearful is because of previous experiences. The reason you're happy is because I think everybody knows. I don't know. Actually, I don't want to assume everybody knows what happiness is, but we all have this inherent capacity to feel. It just needs to be accessed from within. You know? Once you learn to silence the noise of the world and of the universe. The silence of the noise. there's a static to I wouldn't call the universe static. There's the song to the universe, the hymn connecting to K-pop Demon Hunters. That's why it fucking hits me so much now that I've been studying on um resonance as audio, the design of music, resonant design. Because the Indians studied have been creating, the ancients have this mastery of the sound and design and acoustics, and you can literally feel the energy. For girl, hindi mo malalaman, hindi mo mafe-feel yung energy unless you actually go to those places. You can feel, especially for a highly sensitive person like me. That's why I've always been so gravitated towards spaces that are designed to enhance the human experience. The whole visceral feeling of whatever that is, I can feel it. And I have to trust it. But, okay, hypersensitive nga ako. Pero, before, here, the guy here, he was, kasi we all are, kunyari, if I were to say, factory setting. Hindi naman sa factory setting na like, na factory reset yung budding naging straight. Kasi ang factory setting niya is budding, okay? The fuck? Well, it's a spectrum. It fluctuates. You feel more like this because of the hormones in the body, blah, blah, blah. Science, science, science. You are who you are. Oh, be who you are. So, yun. Yeah, he was baseline. And then the noise of the world clouded him. Misogyny, racism, elitism, homophobia, all the toxic traits of the world got dumped on him because A1. And then, yeah, so na-train siya with faulty data. So the body defaulted. I got super fat. Super fat, super fat. You can clearly see it in the photos, or I rather can see it clearly in the photos. The amount of the walls, literally, the fatter I got, the more walls that I had. I think that's my analogy. And now that I'm almost skinny, hindi ko mapunta, okay? Kasi I have to take it slow. Kung pilitin ko ang sarili kong ng skumini, unhealthy na yan. Kasi you have to trust in the timing of your life. Because once you do, wow, it's freeing. When you're overwhelmed, you just have to trust. Pero wag ka naman maging lenient na I'm just gonna balance. But it's a failure. It's heuristic, you know? You just gotta try. If it doesn't, then don't. Pero kung for some reason in your heart and your soul, you want to do it, and it like feels like it's where you need to go, try again. I wouldn't say that I quit. Quitting, it's taking a break. I had a moment where alis na naman siya kang classes niya, tas mamaya ibabalik. Because inaalis ko siya because I want to be more vulnerable para makita nyo ang aking eyes. Kasi this is reflections, no? It's like another filter through me. Anyways, a bit of a tangent. You might have noticed that on previous podcasts, I wouldn't have been able to talk about this because I was still held back, or the voices, they were still fresh. The statute of limitations haven't passed. But now I'm a bit detached to the situation. The choices that were made in the past still affect the present, but the choices of the present will affect the future. So I choose to not let the past affect me negatively. Because there are things here that have happened in my past that if I deny the fact that I went through difficult times, the darkness, the dark reunion, then I wouldn't be whole. I would always feel this something, you know, that I have to acknowledge, come to peace with the inner child, The dreamer. You might say I'm a dreamer. And then the closeted one. The one who was like, yes, this is life. Wow. And then the one that was like, oh my God, this is life. And I'm like, the angry one, the angry teenager. Oh my God, this is life. I have to change the world. Blah. The ego broke down many, many times. It might still continue to break. Who knows? I don't know. People need to say that they don't know. It's okay for you not to know. It's not like ignorance. You can choose to know. You know, you can learn. But if you really don't know something, don't say that you do. It's okay not to know. I don't know. Can you tell me about it? Yeah. Openness, curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat, they say. But satisfaction brought it back. Dun, 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 dun. So yun nga. Like that. You return. It's all about the journey of returning. Pero you cannot return if you don't leave. Okay? So sa mga gustong umalis dyan, umalis na tayo. Joke. No. Take everything that I say with a grain of salt. Or a sand on the beach. Ewan. I just have to speak. I do this for me and for you and the entire human race. The last episode I cried to Michael Jackson. And I'm like, I think Michael Jackson would love K-pop. He's like the... where they get their inspiration from. Some of the aspects of K-pop is Michael Jackson. And I think Michael Jackson would love K-pop Demon Hunters. Wow. There's no denying. Anyways. Sabi ni Gino dun, there are parts of ourselves that resurface once we meet a certain someone. And sometimes those people are people who hold a mirror to us. And I have met people who held mirrors to me. I've met the mirrors. I've faced the mirrors. Or the mirrors were made to face me. Actually, pumunta ako sa mirror. I don't know, actually. Basta nagka-mirror na lang. Because you can never meet yourself fully. Oo, kaya mo naman mag-center sa emong sarili na like, meditate ka sa Kung Fu Panda. Or like monk, you can go out there and be with just the center. But there are also different ways. There are multiple paths. Okay? There is no one singular path. Some people might say they are, and they might argue, but like, why do we keep dividing? That's very a Western philosophy, I think. Division? Huh? The way that... Sa forest ba? Nag-aagaw-agaw ba sila ng resources sa forest? In the Amazon rainforest, there is much more life in the Amazon rainforest. Like, I think 20% of the world's forests hold 80% of the world's biodiversity. The numbers are not right, I know, but the ratio, you get the point. Just a tiny sliver of the surface area of the planet covers the majority, a vast majority of the living things. I guess. 70% of the earth is water, 70% of the body is water. Be like water. Speaking of, take this time to drink water. Marami ko nang nasabi. What else? What does the guru... At nga ni, aki pa sana talaga, para kalwagan akong mga tao na Buddha da ako. Garo nga ay kaso, siyon bago naman sa taas kang mga iglalagang mga tao sa organ niya. If I'm a Buddha, then so be it. I'd rather be a Buddha. Buddha, where I had a phase. Well, I'm still in my yellow phase. Yellow, I find, in the last year. Diba, nag-talk about ako, yellow and the symbolism of color. The yin-yang, black and white. The yellow and the blue. The yellow and the blue. Rumi, golden and furfall. The patterns are furfall. And Rumi is the golden. Hindi pwedeng maging golden. Because it was at the end of the movie, all the colors were included. Happy Pride Man! Happy Pride Man! Yun. The transience of life. Fleeting. And there's literally a beauty up there. The feeling of like, wow, of surrendering, this peace. I've just felt like glimmers and slices of that. Pero you can feel it sometimes in music. You can feel it sometimes in people. There's just this aura that is in things. I used to be so obsessed with figuring out the whys of everything. Now I just tend to just let it be. Yeah. It'll happen. That's very Filipino of me. I have already reconnected with my Filipino-ness. I'm at a very Filipino time of my life. But we're in a globalized civilization. The internet is literally at your fingertips. Why wouldn't you use that? You know? Take the best of both worlds. Well, stay rooted, like a tree analogy. Make your roots go deeper and wider, and let your branches spread higher and wider. Shade your canopy. Expand your canopy to shade more people. Take up space in the sky, in the ground, and give life. Take life. No, not take life. Actually, I don't know. Basta, we take in and we take out. I love trees. I feel more at peace with a tree. Maybe that's why my green room, I literally do not remember why I chose my room to be green and why I choose to cover myself with blue. I choose to cover myself with blue because blue looks good on me. Yes, the color theory, you know, hindi tong blue na tong shade, basically. I've been wearing blue. You can see here in the photos. Di mo naman nakikita. Oh, di ba? Instinctively, I take blue and yellow. And I think movies then, I think it's just a very human thing. Pero I just have it, I've already been exposed to it for years and years and years. And I've denounced color for a while because I was like, black is the opposite of color. And that's why I think white then, okay? Because white is the presence of all colors of the visible spectrum. Pero I think it's because blue and yellow, the frequency of them, everything is waves, right? Blue and yellow, they just hit the right spot, and maybe somewhere along the wavelength of light, there are frequencies there that just make sense. Pero I think there's a frequency for everything. Like, what is your frequency? My frequency is blue and yellow, and I find that to be my resonant frequency. Whenever I speak my truth, whenever I am real and honest, I feel better. My throat feels better. My body feels better. My lower back doesn't hurt that much. My eyes don't hurt that much. Tunay talaga, like yung si Rumi na like, yung nang nakasama niya si Gino, like narahay, her throat got better, her voice came back. That's true then. Once you learn to accept all of you, you gotta talk about Bruno Green. Bruno was, oh my god, wawa man siya. He was just telling people the truth or like what will happen. But kayo takot? Why are you afraid? Or like, why are you denying? Hindi nga niya mag-give. Hindi naman siya yung he doesn't make the future. He's just telling you the future. Okay? Mirabel Madrigal? No, I'm not Mirabel Madrigal. Mirabel Madrigal is my friend. I am Steven Universe. Maybe. Yeah. Oh, I think I'm more of a Steven Universe kind of guy. Yeah. Yeah, I'm Steven Universe. Anyways, I've been talking for 28 minutes. What else am I gonna say? Oh, by the end of K-pop Demon Hunters, it's like a whole journey, okay? That covers a story arc. It starts by telling us the history of why this is like that, and then it shows us the characters, which are vessels to move the story forward, and everything else in between. I love it. But by the end of the movie, the song, music, carries it. It's always at the back. You see the story, you feel the story, and then you hear everything. It's a whole experience. Kulang na lang talaga taste and smell. Basta, it's a sensory experience. So you hear all of that. Music talaga is the very first sense that we have developed. So music is the we are much more sensitive to sound than we are to what we see. I think the neurons or sensors in the ear are higher than they are in the eyes and the hands. And did you know that the touch receptors of your finger and your tongue are the same? So therefore, if you've ever touched something, you can imagine what it would taste like. Ugh. Oh my god, I just imagined something. Ugh. And if you try it will literally taste the same. Kaya nga sabi ng mga tao, yung milk tea daw sa McDo dati, lasang doorknob. Hindi ka pa nakataste ng doorknob, pero since nakahawak ka na ng doorknob, edi alam mo na yung taste na yon. At pag ininom mo yung milk tea, lasang doorknob talaga siya. Think I'm weird? I have science to back me up. I just don't have the sources right now. And that's why that's the beauty of why I trust the journey that I'm going through. Because I cannot tell the story of where I am going because I choose to keep that to myself. There are things I choose to keep private, like my daily life, the things that are happening to me right now, and what has happened to me in the past. The specificities, they will not be discussed. They might be, especially if it's a case study, but the learnings, the overarching themes. There's an art to telling the stories, and that's why the messiahs or like the messengers of God, I don't know what I'm saying. Actually, I know what I'm saying. You have to adjust your communication to fit the audience or to who you're talking to. You have to na-frustrate ako kasi why can't I just speak yes, pero yun nga, kailangan mo mag-adjust kasi communication you cannot force. Sabi nga ni Voda, sabi ni Buddha, bakit nang tinanong mo yung isang religion, nagtanong siya about something, yung reply mo sa kabila, iba din. Parehas pa din naman yun, pero in-adjust niya yung analogy to fit their worldview because they can never change. Hindi naman sa they can never change. It's hard. That's why, and also, you can be a Buddhist and be a Christian or be a Buddhist and whatever. You can be a Buddhist and a Hindu and you can be multi-religional because they are just, como se dice, powering up each other. I believe. I think this episode is about movies and movies as a reminder or things that movies and how they mirrored things I caught from movies. Hindi naman to movie but it's a series that I watched recently, and by recently I binge watched the series of The Amazing Digital Circus. Napanood niyo na ba yun? I don't know. It's highly successful. It has passed by my feed multiple times already, but I never really got a chance to sit down and watch it. But recently, I was invited to watch the movie, which is actually the finale episode, mixed with the previous episode. And I had to watch everything so that I would understand what happens in the movie. Kasi ending pala siya. Akala ko like parang Steven Universe baga na. Well, actually, Steven Universe, the movie, you should have watched everything, but if you did it still would make sense. It's still very fresh to me, so I might just tease it or drop a little bit of things. But basically, life is a game. Life is silly. Be true. Be with people. We're here for one another. Anything is possible as long as we're with each other. If it doesn't matter, then you get to choose what matters. And the character that I relate to so much is Kinger. Yes, I am Kinger. In a sense, I see myself in him. Actually, I don't really see myself in the others. Kinger talaga. Kinger is, okay, me and Kinger, nabuhayan siya nung na-remember niya si Kinger. My parallels between me and Kinger, the parallels I have with Kinger. We see Kinger as a crazy person, like, because Kinger was told that he was crazy. Like, Jax was talking about the archetypes of the people in the circus, of how we are. We tend to fall into our archetypes, and you get to choose what archetype you're going to take because it doesn't matter. It's not real. And by the end, he realizes that it's real. Tapos naloka siya na, oh, yung mga pinagagawa ko. I was like, oh, di ba? Do what? Yeah. The mind is such a place. Anyways, going back to Kinger, the way that he was able to be present with Bragatha and Pomni, I remember ko pang names, in the dark was something. And like, I felt like, whoa, this is me. He's literally me. I'm him. Because I'm sort of crazy in the sun, in the light. I tend to be forgetful at times, but once it's dark, like you see here, I mean, it's the night. In the night, say alright. Yeah, yeah. I have this sense of clarity by Zed and Foxes that come to me. In the silence of the darkness, I find solace. That's when I can be of comfort. That's when I am able to comfort myself here at this time, around this time. Each episode left me crying. Episode 1, I was still, what is this? What am I watching? That's literally, how we come into existence. Like, what am I doing? What is life? Okay. Sinaba ka. First na episode, tinatong ka na diretso into the moment. Walang training. Figure it out as you go. Because that's just how life is. There is no manual. Actually, there are books. There is like learning, and there's like so much wisdom that has been reverberating around the world. Pero, kailangan daanan mo yun. Hindi mo naman pwede speed run. Kailangan pagdaanan mo pa din yung different parts of the life. You cannot not have some like an experience. You know what I mean? You can have adjacent experiences, but feeling the expanse of the whole human experience. The thing that struck me the most, or like that has lingered, that I leave with, is the humanity. Just the fucking humanity of it all. If I were to have watched this at a very precarious time of my life, there have been moments when I know I've gone through precarious moments where, like, I know that if I let this go into me, I will let it latch on to me. That's why I've been very protective of my peace, or like of what I let in, because I know that if I let it in, it will stay in and I can't let it out. And now that I just let things pass through me, I have moments, rather, because I can't say that I let things pass through me. Because if I say that, that means that I am actually doing that. That's embodied. It's not yet embodied. I will become someone who will let things just pass through him. Actually, I do. And then I'm going to say it so that it actually happens. I'm not like, knock on wood. If you want something good to happen, then just fucking say it. Pero kailangan may bitaw ka, dude. Kaya may bitaw ka. Kaya sometimes the brain says, that's why I cannot lie. Because in my brain, I'm like, ba't parang may kulang? Wala kang ebidensya within yourself na kaya mo ito magawa. Okay? Kaya that's why you have to try everything so that you know what you're good at, you know where you're not, you know where to improve, blah, 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 blah. How will you know if you don't try? Because not doing anything is worse than getting it wrong. Because if you get it wrong, you get something. You know what not to do, or you know what you're good at, or you know what like that. If you just stay there, adi wala. Yoinch. I think I'll leave it at that. Marami ko nang nasabi. It's been 30 minutes. Did you know you have like 30 minutes? Anyways, that's a bit of a ramble before bed again. Stay humble, have courage, be kind, compassion, and intention. Stay true to your words. Pag sinabi mo, gawin mo. And if you don't, sabihin mo hindi mo nagawa. Kasi sometimes, minsan, hindi natin kaya. Or like, wait lang, sandali. I'll get back to you. Yeah. That's what it is. Returning. You stay, you leave, you go. Nothing lasts forever. Everything is transient. And you have to just be there for the moment. When it calls, you answer the call if you can. Or actually, you should probably answer the call as much as possible, especially if the call is right. Pero sometimes may spam callers, diba? Pag nasa contacts mo na at favorites mo, ay di, sagutin mo na. Pero kailangan ikaw ready kang to receive the call. Hindi naman pwedeng yes ka lang sa everything. You have to know within yourself if you have the capacity, the energy, and the resource, and the blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and that's why there's the beauty of this format of me speaking, rambling, cutting out things that really do not add substantial, that doesn't substantiate the word, and being honest and true, raw. There's a beauty to that, and there's also a beauty to art, to a piece of something that has been thought of. But there's something gravitating about authenticity, of something that is embodied, and I feel like I reached a point where it comes naturally to me anymore, that it comes out of my mouth as compared to what come out of my mouth dati. Oh my god, who I was before was who I was before. Who I am now is who I am now. Who I will be is who I will be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. I just finished editing the previous parts and I forgot that I have no outro. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making them. This is very much like, mirroring the first episode I made. Yeah. See you guys next time. Bye. Yeah.